think we're live now. Let's see. What was I going to say? You remember the game? I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. That Chiefs Bills game that went like back and forth, and Chiefs came back and won. Remind me of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Still Nemoresco. I just sent out the link to the group, so. Whew. Feel any Chicago affiliation for this game tonight? You like secretly rooting for the Bears?
No, it's hard to root for the Bears with Caleb Williams.
It kind of is.
He just. I don't like his attitude. Did you? There was a Dave might have sent you. I'd already read it, but there was a kind of, an article that came out about kind of how things went down last year, and whether or not it's true or not, I don't know, but I think, I don't know, based off of some of the things that we see, some of the things I was reading, I was like, yeah, that doesn't seem far-fetched. Like, that's not super shocking. Like, he's just kind of an ass. Like, entitled.
Not a great character.
Yeah, thinks he's the shit, so.
Yeah. What's up, Marco? What's up, Ben?
What up, boys? What's up, three-timers?
The three-timers.
Cheers.
We'll let a couple more. I think a couple more people are going to roll in, and then we can talk about our voting. Have you guys all voted already on this topic?
Yep. I voted by sending Dan and Dave a text. I didn't know if there was a different venue.
Yeah, I did the same.
That was the way to vote.
Although, depending on what happens in this discussion, I might try and change my vote. So we'll see.
Too late. Blocked.
I don't know. I've honestly flipped back and forth a few times now. I'm thinking I might change again.
I think Josh should put out the opening argument for maintaining the current disposition, and then I will come in with rebuttal and eviscerate.
Ben, are you against it?
I am neither here nor there, Maresca. I'm in Hawaii. I'm just where I am. False.
I know Jonesy had some opinions on this. I think he's going to try and hop on here too.
I would like to know the impetus for the entire discussion, because I literally would have walked away with like a very good option. Who brought it up?
Oh, I have no idea.
Jonesy did.
Jonesy did.
Well, Jonesy said he said something about changing it next year, and then Dave sent that thing out. So I think someone else might have said something too.
So I wasn't going for the Ravens guy. Like, to spoil it for everyone, I was going for the Dolphins guy because the Dolphins suck, and so I was going for the guy that was going to be returning kicks every 5 seconds.
Well, that's like the tactic part, right? Like, I think Jones and I were texting about this, but like, how often are the Ravens going to get scored on as much as they did last night?
Not like that. No, and Josh has a fair point, and I may be spoiling content that we want to save for the show, but
this is the show.
This is the show. Got it.
We're on. We're in. Where's Jonesy?
Shaq, we're on live. You need to put that clip in, by the way, once I say it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, it adds a nuance, but it also adds a deprecation to the value of every player that we pay good money and keeper money for, because basically you can trot out any returner and they will inevitably.
Ben is on my side on this.
What's up,
I have allies.
All right,
that's ridiculous.
We're not going to
ridiculous.
Hold up 1 second. Let's set the stage for this. We won't have this go forever. Josh, are you generally pro this move? Yes or no? Is anyone massively in favor to like set the stage with like, this is why this should happen?
What should happen? I mean, change the rule.
That we should maintain it at 10 yards equals a point.
I think we should maintain it. Yes.
I
For
think we
now.
should maintain it as
Give
well.
us your thoughts. Josh and Maresco, give us your opening kind of statements here.
I think I was doing research, looking back the pre-draft guide and everything. I think it seems like, from what I remember, I'm a little hazy on the vote and everything, but we voted on this rule. It was documented. It was put in writing for people to read. And my thought is, we're 1 week into the season. I definitely recognize that there was a high number of returns and everything, but I just don't think we should go and change a rule that we approved to have this season so quickly. I feel like we need to wait at least a couple more weeks or till next season, maybe. I'm not I'm not sure if I really like the rule or not. I just feel like also some people base their strategy based on this new rule for the draft. So I think there's just things that we need to take into account.
So you're of the perspective, it was well documented and established. We voted to put this rule in.
Yep.
Not necessarily in favor of it, but it is what it is. Let it play out.
Yep. Correct.
Maresco, anything to add in favor of the rule?
No, I mean, I'm in a similar boat. I think I was texting Jonesy joking around. I think it was documented. I voted against it. Throwing that out there. Voted against that before the season started. So I'm not a pro fan of this rule in general, especially now with the amount of return yards. But the one thing I will say is I think David hit on the mark is it does add some flavor to the waiver wire. I think there's things that are going to happen in the league that haven't happened before. And looking at as a player in the league, I picked up a couple guys last week, not knowing they were kick returners. And I saw them on my bench and they had points, right? And they're third string running backs, backup wide receivers, kind of things. So these guys are going to get picked up, but not just as handcuffs at this point. But it does help teams with injuries. Our league is 14 men. We have 6 bench spots. There's no one on the waiver wires.
And
women
women
right now.
And women.
And women, yes. And I think that, I agree with Josh. I think some people did make their draft. Marvin Mims would not have gone for the amount of money he went for. People were bidding him up because of it. So it was the strategy already in the draft. And going back after 1 week of it, I think that kind of screws some people over that went after the strategy for this. So I think it's one of those things. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out over the next few weeks, but I think we have to stick it out for a year and then vote on it at the end of the season, personally.
I think that's valid. Ben, you have a counterpoint?
Yeah, I think we have rules in our league for return yards that we've maintained for 10 years, and we're making a serious deviation. And I think after 1 week, we've noticed a serious, discrepancy in the scoring. And I think the right thing to do is to address it immediately rather than play it out and have a distortion of a league that we've literally we're one of the best fantasy leagues that I've played, and I'm in 4 leagues this year, and I was in 3 leagues last year, et cetera, et cetera. Ours is one of the best because David and Daniel does nothing. David has done such a great job in maintaining the efficacy and the fairness of our league. And I think that addressing this right now is the right time because it does deprecate the value of everyone's draft. We just didn't realize the impact. I think I voted against. I could be wrong, and I'm going to look stupid when they put up the graphic that says that I voted for it. I think I wanted it to be valuable to draft Kevontae Turpin like that. When Dave undercut me and took him, I was like, dang it! I wanted a guy that could play wide receiver and returner. But then you see the scoring and you're like, oh my gosh, it's super inflated. It is like voting for inflation. You want a dumbing down of the wide receiver twos and the running back twos of our league, and I just don't see that as a benefit. And so I think that the cons outweigh the pros, and we can easily nip this in the bud right now. And I think really the only person who's going to suffer is David, because he went after Turpin. I get the Marvin Mims thing. I would venture an opinion that whoever went after Marvin Mims also thought that the Broncos were a wagon and were like, he's going to get his, because he got his last year, not just as a returner. So I think that aligning and synchronizing scoring with QB yards, which is 25 yards per point, and also defensive return yards, which is really the crux of the matter, because players that return are on the special teams, is 25 yards per point. And so I don't know why we would have an outlying scoring, marker of 10 yards per point. I just don't see that. I think we made the correct adjustment with interceptions for touchdown, and we missed the mark with this one, and it's fine to nip this in the bud on week one. So I think we're early to the correction. I could be wrong, and that's why a vote is really important. Unlike what Josh was stumping for in a different group chat, we are not an authoritarian government. We are democracy, and my allegiance, Anakin, is to the republic, to democracy. So I'll stop there.
I will just comment.
Good point.
This
Yeah.
rule change would screw Matt over a little bit, because Marvin Mims had 129 return yards, so he had quite a few points.
Would
That's
this
right. We can get to that in a
be
second.
retroactively
On his bench?
applied?
Yeah, let Jones.
No,
let
he
Jones
started
weigh
it
in
this
here.
week.
Yeah, I would like to associate myself with Ben's comments. I think he's spot on. I think I think that
Speak for yourself, Jonesy.
putting completing a 20-yard pass actually gets you less points than going from the 1-yard line to the 20-yard line, which would be grounds, frankly, for that kick returner to probably be benched if you were to make such a bad kick return to make it all the way to the 20-yard line. And yet a 20-yard pass actually in our league, the way that it's been set up, actually gets you less points. So it's just very strange. I think it would make sense to align. I'm not necessarily opposed at all to making it like, and I don't think Dave can do this, to be fair, which is probably why it was at 25. I'd be fine with 20 points per yard or per point, 20 yards per point. That could make sense as well. In a way to try to strike a good balance, but 10 yards, making it essentially the same as rushing and receiving, really to the point that was made, would cheapen the rest of the players. I don't think that it was sold as major of a change as it actually is. In fact, I believe I was in one of my conversations with Dave about it. He said it was a 50-50 vote, so it was not exactly full consensus about this change. And now, again, I think we are also realizing, especially with new NFL league changes, rule changes, trying to encourage more kickoffs specifically, by making the touchback go from the 30 to the 35, I think is what they changed this year. Is encouraging a lot more kickoff returns, which on aggregate gets you a lot more points, even points that are associated with very bad teams who are receiving a lot of kickoffs, and not necessarily equated to really anything regarding what would otherwise be fantasy value. Now, I fully recognize that fantasy value and real football value are not the same. Like that will always be the case. Justin Fields will always be better in fantasy than he will in real life football.
They
You
almost
can't
won.
always make that perfect,
They almost won.
perfectly aligned, or else we would go back to a standard league. We would do 6 points for touchdown, etc. That's fine, but I think that this is definitely a little bit too overpowered to make return yards the equal to rushing or receiving. So I think to split the difference, we go vote 2, go to 25 yards per point, or 20 yards. I would be fine with 20 yards per point if that is an option. So as to not necessarily completely discount perhaps some of the decisions that were made in the draft, but I also think, at least based on my view of how it was sold, it was only going to be like a 3 or 4 point difference for real fringe guys. But like anyone who has both receiving and happens to also do kickoffs is way overpowered now. And I looked into the data a little bit there. Turpin is actually, if you looked at last year's points, actually got more fantasy points than Devontae Adams, or almost the same. And if the league actually knew that and appreciated that, then Turpin would have gone for way more than what in the draft than what he actually went for. So okay, sure, a couple of guys may have used some of their draft dollars towards return guys as a result of the league change, but I think even Dave may recognize that this could be skewing this year's kind of results in a worse way than he even anticipated.
Did we socialize the fact that the NFL had made the kickoff change?
I think that's the big piece, isn't it? Because, like, to Jonesy's point, you basically get anything outside of the end zone to like 30 yards for free. So it's basically
it isn't
3 points every single kickoff.
It is an extremely noticeable difference. I think it's 18% of kickoffs were touchbacks. I don't think that was the case last year, and so I would just ask if that was stated to the league, because I think it's very clear. I exchanged text messages with a couple people being like, why is everyone bringing the ball out? And I think it's because of the rule change. And I would just ask whether that was, put out to the league and saying, hey, just letting you know. And which came first? Did the NFL make the rule change and then we made the change, or vice versa?
Well, they announced the rule change last year in the preseason that it was coming this year.
Yeah.
Because they tested in the preseason
last
2 years ago.
In the preseason?
After the preseason, they said they're going to put it into effect.
They tested
nobody watched the preseason, Maresco, so literally no one saw that.
But if you follow the NFL, you'll know that they're changing different rules.
I do not follow the NFL. I only follow God. I don't follow the NFL.
Well,
I mean, I think in fairness to, like, Dave put forward, I think there was a proposition from several people to make returners more viable. Dave put forward the rule. I think he gave us whatever amount of information. And it was either, to your point, Jonesy, of the 20 points, I think it was either 10 or 25 to keep it consistent with either, special teams return yards being 25 or rushing and receiving being 10. And I guess we decided on 10. We did vote on it, I guess. I think that my initial reaction to this was, I'm for it. It adds some variability to the league. Having the 10 points, it means that the waiver wire is a little bit more viable now. You can pick someone up that might actually be worthwhile to play. And because of that, people will be picking up returners, which means they'll be dropping other players if you need a position player that could be available on the waiver wire. I think the counter to that for me, where I'm kind of leaning away from it now, is if you have a really bad team, and maybe this won't happen this year, maybe it will. Oh, is that a pick six? If you have a really bad team, you could conceivably just start all the players you think are going to be returners a given week and end up with like 5 15-point players.
JJ McCarthy sucks. He's trash.
good pick, Jonesy.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess has everyone on this call already voted? I've already voted, but I may or may not be trying to reach out to change my vote. I don't know. My understanding prior to this, because I asked Dave, was that not everyone has voted. It's pretty close, and this forum, as it were, could potentially sway people to finalize kind of how we'll approach the season.
Can I just ask for the people that are for it? do you have any other? Can you hearken to any other benefit other than it increases the waiver wire depth and makes the return game intriguing? Because I don't think that outweighs the the inflation reality and the deprecation of wide receiver 2 and running back 2 when Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson, etc., are not scoring as much as a return man. Like, are we in a league that values receptions and actual touchdowns? Or are we just in a person who runs out from the 1 to the 20 and that equals 20 points? Like, is that worth it to you? I don't understand that.
I agree with you. I think I originally thought it's more fun to have more variables. So if you take the actual football quality out, right? Like you're saying, Justin Jefferson is worth so much because he provides us. I agree with that. I think that adding the returner or making the returner more viable, it just adds another variable to how you manage the league. I'm not saying we should do that, but it's an additional variable. Similarly, if we said we're going to have a defensive player now and everyone's going to have to manage that as well, it just adds one more layer into how you're managing your team, which I think can be interesting. I agree with you, Ben. I don't think that a de facto 1 to 20, 1 to 30 yard returner should be worth more than half of the fringe wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I mean it's. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's similar to why we didn't award points for first down, because like you get 1 inch and you get a first down. It's like, wait, hold on. Are you really going to reward somebody for like just making it that far and getting a first down and then like you get 5 points or whatever it was? I can't remember. And so like I appreciate Josh's position. Like Josh and I went back and forth, but now is the time to make the change, not halfway through the year or next year when I win because all I do is play whoever is going to get scored on the most and grab their returner and I get super lucky. It's like, I don't know. It kind of defeats the purpose. Go ahead, Jonesy. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I think we just exposed Maritzko's plan because his team is so trash. But no, I think
everyone on the team. So look on the
one thing. To be fair, I think if you're just a return guy, it would have to be a lot, and there's only a very small handful that do that much returning, both punts and kicks, that could warrant kind of the same production as a receiver. It's really those combination guys. And by the way, I benefit from this. I did not know that Caleb Johnson was going to be their primary return person when I drafted him. Like he's going to be my if we stick to this league change, he will probably be my RB2 or RB1 potentially right away, without even really showing any true NFL values. Currently the third on the depth chart, but anything that he could give potentially if he does work his way towards an RB2 RB1 in the actual football terms, if he remains the return guy, might be a top 5 fantasy running back.
He got 2 snaps this week, bro.
And yet he got 14 points.
Yep. Return.
You're making my argument for me. So
Josh, you're supporting.
I benefit from this. I benefit from this, but I just don't think it's necessarily something that we realized going in that it would be kind of this kind of skewed in this direction.
It's because of the kickoff rule, right? If this was only for punts, like I think punt returner is fine. If you can get 10, 20% of punt return, it's probably worth the points. But it's just because of the way the kickoff rule is structured right now.
Right. Yeah. And so like a player like Rashid Shaheed, Dan obviously wisely kept him last year, although last year we didn't have this rule. He kept him and now he, in theory, should be projected to get more points than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just because he does play regular snaps, he is one of the wide receiver 1/2s, and yet he also is their primary kick returner. So I don't know if that's really the type of fantasy world that I want to live in, but yeah, I feel confident that we would at least at a minimum address this in the off season. But I would be fine to make a week 1 revision, at least to the 25. Like I'm not saying let's just get rid of it altogether. But I think the 25 yards would be fine.
I think that's
We had other we also did, I will say, let me also take just a quick second to say that we did have other mechanisms to address the waiver wire disparities, or the barrenness of the waiver wire, and those were specifically for that purpose, and they were voted down.
Can we pull up the vote? Because Jonesy makes a very intriguing Capitol Hill, ghost of Capitol Hill. He doesn't work on the Hill anymore, or maybe he does. Who knows what he does? House of Cards.
No longer there.
No longer there. He invoked. Hey KP, he invoked the fact that it was a 50-50 vote and got pushed through. What is going on with that? Can we pull that up?
Did Dan was Dan the tie-breaking vote?
Little VP tiebreaker.
Yeah.
This was to push the initial approval through.
I vote.
That was in the off-season vote. Right?
Chancellor Orum's leadership.
It's 50% majority in our league, I guess.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Do we need to invoke having a super majority in order to pass anything from here on out?
I think.
Well,
the
not
two-thirds
super
should be the
majority,
super
but at
majority.
least
Just a little majority.
at least a majority. Last time I checked, but I guess we have a VP who can break a tie.
Well, let's let this
how we
voting
feel about
process
that.
play out, boys.
That's right.
See where it goes.
Right. Yep.
There's a possibility that we may also end this one in a tie, and that may go to a tiebreaker again.
We'll see how Dave wants to weigh in on this stuff. I'm sure cooler heads will prevail. Not how democracy will die.
I will absolutely respect the revote, and I appreciate it at least being discussed on this forum, and then also given an opportunity now that I think maybe we all know or are more aware of the implications.
Is it raining where you are, Mariska?
Is it raining?
Never mind.
KP says we're more organized in Congress, which is true.
That's an insult and a compliment.
Just wait. We've got some cuts coming soon across the league.
So rapid reaction. Josh lost. Clark, JJ McCarthy sucks. So you lost. Maresco, Jonesy, how are you feeling with the current Rockets in your big season?
I'm just praying Aaron Jones stays on the sideline for the rest of tonight's game.
Oh, that's right. You could beat Matt, right?
I'm projected to win now all of a sudden.
Oh my! Aaron Jones needed like 5 points or something. I thought
He needed 6 points and he has 0.8 through the first 3 quarters.
Matt is the biggest Aaron Jones stan of all time, and
Jordan Mason is taking every snap right now, and I'm loving it.
You're welcome, Jonesy.
I'm loving that too. Although that was very calculated. Trade. Mutually agreed to trade.
It was Matt. He could have gone in. Yeah, I'm actually pretty fascinated by. It feels like a lack of scoring, but it also feels like an interesting revelation to the 14-man league and how everybody is struggling with like how many people there are. I got very fortunate. Like Washington defense, etc. So, yeah, I was just curious what everybody's reactions were.
So
I will say,
I'm-
I will say, our league's defenses put up so many more points than all the other leagues I'm in. That's another thing I would say. So it's kind of insane. Like I had the New England in 3 leagues. They got me 6 points in the other 2 leagues, and they got me 14 in this league. So I think we should change that.
I'm
rule
fine.
too.
I agree. I actually agree with you on
Change
this.
everything.
Wait.
Change everything.
Well,
Why-
so we
why
can
is
do
it
that,
so-
and we can
just-
offset it by adding another receiver slot, and that
No,
way
why is it so
it gets rid
different?
of the
I
large
don't-
bench.
I honestly don't know. I think
Look
honestly,
at the numbers.
I think it's the return
Look at the numbers,
yards.
though. No, look at the return yards are 25 yards per
Yeah, I
point,
got
which is
5
always
I got 5
10,
points off
10
of that.
years of that. 10 years of that.
I was going to say the return yards has always been consistent. I don't know if it's interceptions or turnovers or sacks.
Our league has always had the highest, at least in my. And the main other one I have done is, well, no, I do another Yahoo, and then I've done ESPN, but in those other 2 leagues, it's the same. They get way less points for a DST. I've never
Sacks-
looked into it that closely, but
Sacks,
Yeah.
3 and outs, return yards. Those are the bread and butter of our
I
defense.
like our defenses. I think our
Yeah, I
defense
don't
is
mind
pretty
it.
well balanced in this league. Like there's definitely like peaks and valleys with it, but I like the fact that it adds another dynamic.
My defense didn't allow over 7 points, had multiple 3 and outs, multiple sacks, and only scored 14 points. Well, 15. So I think I
I
should
wonder.
be
I think it's
renaming
the
the
3 and outs.
defenders.
It might be the 3 and outs.
It might be the 3 and outs.
That's
Well, before
it's
we
always
wrap
been
up,
one.
before we finalize the discussion on kick returns, I think we've got to go to the ultimate decider.
All right, yeah. Final thing before I tap out.
Yeah.
Forgot to add Micah.
There it
you gotta
is.
respin. You
We
never
gotta
Micah.
respect the wheel.
Respin with Micah.
Respect the wheel.
It's not a real wheel.
I fully expect the 3 of you to change your vote. It's
We'll
not
give you
too
a-
late.
I'm gonna
Right.
ride
The,
Micah.
the vote is still open, technically. You can change your vote. That's how it works in
I will
Congress.
not.
I will reach out to the commissioner and see what I can do with my vote. I feel like I've been convinced, but I don't know if my ballot was cast and there's no getting it out of the little tallying machine, then it is what it is.
The poll shut down at 10 p.m. That
The-
sucks. That sucks.
Maresco, you're not counting in the mail-in ballots.
The mail-in ballots have been canceled.
Fraud.
They've been shut down.
I vote for a
Who's in the
vote of no
dark?
confidence.
All right, guys. Thanks for hopping on. We'll have another 2-timer soon, but I'm going to go ahead and end the stream at least. Good discussion.
Thanks.
See if we swayed anyone.
You swayed me.